Welcome back to Mournful Walrus. I'm your host, Stephen Weathers, and today we are making something I have never made before. It's General Tso's chicken, toes, chicken, chow's, I don't know. The one at the Panda Express and stuff. We're gonna start by cracking an egg into a bowl. I think technically it's supposed to be an egg white, but I always feel weird about tossing the egg yolk, and I don't have any plans to make any custard, so I'm just gonna leave it in there. And that should be fine. We're gonna beat it. Just beat it. Beat it. We're gonna add a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. And 3 to 4 tablespoons of corn starch, give or take. And careful, corn starch is very light and just kind of flies around. This table was filthy when I finished this. About 3 tablespoons of soy sauce. And 3. Now, it asks for Chinese cooking wine, but I couldn't find any for the life of me, but apparently brandy is a good replacement. Not really sure why. It definitely makes everything look a little bit more brown, but it worked. Now we're gonna try to get as many lumps of this as we can out by beating the hell out of it with a fork, but cornstarch likes to clump. Even after it's mixed up, it'll kind of separate and re-clump up. It's very annoying. And then I add a little bit of, I think that was rice wine vinegar, which I think I read that with the brandy is kind of like the cooking wine. I can't remember if that was what it said or if I made that up, but it didn't ruin the dish, so okay, sure. Next up, I think it was about 3 chicken thighs. Gonna clean off the fat, just kind of clean them up a little bit. Then just basically cut them into like bite-sized pieces, like, you know, use your judgment obviously, but just, you know, like that. Fingerlings up to the second knuckle. You just toss them in. Because what we've made so far is actually a marinade slash kind of a batter, but not really a batter. More of a marinade. So once you get all the chicken cut up, it's about 3 chicken thighs. You're just gonna mix it up, make sure everything's coated nicely. And what I like to do is I grab a Ziploc bag, like one of the gallon-sized ones, and just throw it all in there. And then I can continue to use that bowl after I wash it. But another reason I do this is with the Ziploc bag, you can get most of the air out of it to help keep things from oxidizing. I don't know if that helps or not, but I like to pretend it does. So that's what I do. Squish, squish, squish. And I'm just gonna toss that in a bowl and just stick it in the fridge and let it marinate for a while. I think it's supposed to be like 2 or 3 hours. Then in a fresh bowl, we're gonna add about a cup of cornstarch, a surprisingly messy cup of cornstarch, about a teaspoon of salt, and a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, and then we're just gonna whisk it all together to make sure everything gets, evenly distributed in the cornstarch. And this will be actually our breading, interestingly enough. I hear some people can use flour, but I didn't because the recipe said I didn't say I had to, so I didn't. Probably would have saved on cornstarch, because this recipe takes a lot of cornstarch. Then, in bowl number 4, maybe, we're gonna add 3 tablespoons of soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of rice wine vinegar, 3 tablespoons of sugar, and just like a squeezing of sesame oil, and a tablespoon of cornstarch just to get everything nice and creamy, I guess? Thick? I don't know. And then you just mix it up and let that do its thing. Then I've got a big old clove of garlic, which is just going to give it a little press to help peel it. Then I want to say that was probably about a thumb's worth of ginger once I was done with it. So nice thin vertical slices, and then I'm going to stack it, cut into matchsticks, and then cut it a horizontal, or I guess perpendicular to the matchstickness to get just kind of a fairly small chop. Maybe counts as a mince. I guess you could also grate it, but I didn't for some reason. I'm not really sure why, I just didn't think about it at the time. And then we're gonna do the same thing with the garlic. And usually I have a garlic press, which is like the best invention ever. But for some reason I'm thinking, hey, I'm gonna slice it, because I guess it's more interesting to watch, and there are technically different properties to the garlic when you chop it versus run it through a garlic press, though I could not tell you what they are. And then both of these are just going to go into a small little bowl, which we will toss onto a frying pan in a bit. This is also the part where I realize I don't have any green onion currently. So, hey, I found a sweet pepper, which is fine. It worked. It tasted good. Now, we're going to take our marinated chicken and just dump that in the bowl after mixing it up a little bit because the cornstarch settled, like I said. And then we have our flour, well no, it's not flour at all, it's actually the cornstarch breading. And then, idiot. Okay, so don't do that. Gently, just kind of gently place them in there. Yeah, like that. That's much better. And then I just kind of went with batches of like 5 or 6 pieces until I got impatient and then threw too many in there, and then it just kind of clumped together, and that's my fault because I'm an idiot. Then I've got a big messy plate and a really annoyingly hard to clean. Cornstarch is weird. It's very, you can't just wipe it up. It just, it's very annoying. So you're going to get yourself some oil, heat it up to a nice frying temperature, which I think it's supposed to be like 350 to 375, but it's around there somewhere, I'm not really sure. And I just carefully drop them in one at a time, and then let them in there for a little bit, just a few minutes, until they are deliciously golden brown and just, oh, delicious. I mean, look at that. That is some A+ looking chicken. Cornstarch makes a good breading. Who'da thunk? And I just kind of kept doing that for a while. I was using chopsticks. I've got my cooking chopsticks, and I would say that they are more precise than just kind of dropping them in by hand because you don't want to splatter or anything like that. And they just look so good, don't they? Just on some paper towel to dry. And so this is the part where I forgot to show me adding the things to the pot. But there's a little bit of oil, and then the garlic and the ginger and the sweet pepper. Then you want to make sure your pan isn't too hot when you add the cornstarch mixture, which was our sauce, which I think was the first thing we made. Second thing? I can't remember. And like with the orange color of the sweet peppers, it just looks like orange marmalade, doesn't it? It worked out fine. I added some water and just let it, I don't know, thin, I guess. I basically turned the heat almost all the way off. And then took them off, added some water, just tried to... I feel so dumb for that, but lesson learned, right? So then you just kind of toss the chicken in it. Like, that's really all it is. You make chicken, you make sauce, you put chicken in sauce, mix it up. And this is also where I realized that I have way too much chicken for how much sauce I made, so I quickly made it like another double batch of the sauce, just really quick off camera. And then you just poured it on top, and it was fine. But yeah, I guess you should pay attention when it says use like 1 pound of chicken and don't accidentally use 2.5 pounds. Unless you're going to adjust everything else like a smart person would, which I did not. Other than the lack of green onion, I think this came out pretty good. And when I put in the garlic and the ginger and the sweet pepper, I probably should have put in like a dried chili or two to ump up the heat. I didn't have any, didn't care to find any, whatever. So General Tso's chicken, what are you gonna do? You're gonna put it on rice. So, you know, I made some rice. Put it in a bowl. I'm not really sure what to say about this. It's white rice. It's not that, it's really not that complicated. And then here comes the fun plating part. Ooh, everything's gonna look nice. I do really wish I had like some sesame seeds to sprinkle on top along with the green onion. Because it's just, I don't know, the color of it is kind of just very homogeneous. It's just brownish, orangish. And like sprinkle on some like the little white sprinkles of the sesame seeds and a little bit of the green onion, and I think it'd be a little more appetizing. But this came out, I would say on par with like Panda Express pretty much. I feel like they do something slightly different, like maybe use a proper amount of sauce and not brandy or something. But other than that, I think this came out. I would definitely make this again. This was really good homemade junk food. Like, it's basically Panda Express, except I don't know if I'd say it's cheaper with how much chicken and stuff I used, but it was good. It was very enjoyable, and honestly, it doesn't look too bad. I mean, I can't not snag a bite real quick. I mean, it smelled really good for the entire time I was cooking this, and then I had to wait a little bit longer for everyone to get home before I could really eat it, but, you know, sneak a piece here, don't tell nobody, is our little secret between me and between you, and it's our little secret by the chicken. I would give this a solid 7 out of 10. I got this recipe more or less from the Brothers Green channel. Some alterations, obviously, but this is basically the recipe. As far as I know, I'm not really sure where they got their recipe from, but go check them out. They do some pretty awesome cooking stuff. Yeah, that's about it. I'm gonna go eat this real quick. I actually ate it really quick. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like. If you really liked it, leave a subscribe. Although you don't really leave subscriptions, you just kind of do it. You know what I mean. If you didn't like it, or you thought I could do something better, or you just want to say something, please leave a comment. It's so much nicer than just disliking the video, because that is not helpful at all. It's just like, oh, someone didn't like it. Okay. Sure, that happened. Whatever. You know? It's like not even helpful. Either way, I think that's all I got for today. So, later days.